Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to WCEGTalkRadio.com, the worldwide community empowerment group. Please call in to our Skype hotline, 678-619-1402. We are your 501c3 non-profit radio station. Please consider making a tax-deductible donation to help support our broadcast. You can go to our website or call our office at 404-490-8646. Again, go to our website or call our office at 404-490-8646. You can also catch us on YouTube Live, WCEG Network. Correct? WCEG Network on YouTube. Before we get started, I have a couple of brief announcements to make. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Stoneview Elementary School. I was there last Wednesday for their career day. I spoke to a kindergarten class and a second grade class that were both very smart, both very full of energy, and both very had very good questions to ask me. So I definitely appreciated that. We like to have critical thinkers at our school. So shout out to Stoneview Elementary School. And then last Thursday, I was at Columbia Middle School for their career day, and I spoke to two very lively sixth grade classes, Miss Billingsley's class and Miss Newman's class. Had a chance to take a picture with them also. They were some pretty great students too, and they were pretty excited about having someone from the entertainment industry in their classroom. So I definitely appreciated the love that I received from the students at Columbia Middle. So shout out to them. Coming up, well, I have a very nice, heartwarming story about Stoneview Elementary at the end of the show, but I'll share that during my Scholars of the Week segment. And then coming up on May the 7th, we'll be having a STEAM program at Canby Lane Elementary School with Miss Antoinette Tuff and the Kids on the Move for Success organization. I'll be doing an anti-bullying play or skit there, and I'm looking forward. This will be my second year going, and she said it's going to be bigger and better than it was last year, so I'm really looking forward to checking that out on May the 7th. And if you don't know who Miss Antoinette Tuff is, she is the school secretary who stopped a school shooting back in 2012. Yeah, so she is one of my super heroes that's out there fighting a good fight in the community and working with these children to give them a better future. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I also like to give a shout out to my radio producer, my TV producer, Cindy Leader. We had an event Sunday. We did the red carpet at the Good Gospel Rock of Praise celebration. It was their inaugural event, and I got to meet someone I've been watching in the gospel arena for a very long time, Miss Dottie Peebles. Okay. So I was very excited to meet her, and I had a chance to interview her. So great job to Cindy and Cindy's Party Hour for going out there and doing an excellent red carpet job. Next week, myself and WCEG will be at the Atlanta Actors Awards, correct? April the 7th, it's at the Porter Sanford Theater. I'm looking forward to that one also. You catch me on the red carpet looking dapper as ever. You know how I do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Shout out to my WCEG fam, Wardell Richardson. It's another one of his events, and I'm sure he's nominated for something because he always is, because he's always out in the community doing his thing, and he's making the Hollywood of the South even greater than it already is. So we definitely appreciate that. So, and with that being said, we're going to get to the meat of our conversation and move into my in-studio guests. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome.
How y'all doing today?
Thank you. We're great.
That's wonderful. First, I want to introduce Miss Tekesia Shields.
Yes, sir.
She is the founder, right,
yes,
of Mothers Against Gun Violence. And so she's here today to talk about her organization. And she also brought one of her mentees with her, Miss Tasia Terrell.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You ain't nervous, are you?
No.
I know you're not, because you're a model. So you know how to be on TV and all that stuff. You know how to work it, don't you?
Yes.
I know you do. All right. So the first thing, because I didn't know you were going to have a mentee with you. So
Proper.
I like for you to tell us what the organization is, Mothers Against Gun Violence, and then what you do with Tasia and other young people like her.
Well, actually, the name of my organization is Mothers Against Gang Violence.
Gang violence.
Gang violence is, yeah. So that's why you see gang violence. Sure, that's okay.
I've been writing gun the whole time.
And you know what? Because one of my flyers also had gun violence and everything on there.
I knew I got that from somewhere.
You did. So you did. So I do run with it because gun, gangs, all that goes together.
It does go hand in hand. But Mothers Against Gang Violence.
Yes, sir. And Mothers Against Gang Violence basically is an organization that was developed through my passion as a mother. It's a testimonial of mine.
Okay.
I am a mother of 4 sons, and I currently have an 18-year-old that's incarcerated doing 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And so through going through the judicial system and going through the community and in and out of court, I just thought it was my duty to bring my testimony to parents in the community so that, sometimes they don't trust the system. Right. But if they have a family or someone that looks just like them, they would trust my wording more or my judgment for being involved in the system. So I developed the program Mothers Against Gang Violence because of my actual testimony. Okay.
And so do you act as a liaison between the court system and people in the community?
I act as a liaison. I do forward thinking workshops. So I was just last month sworn in as on the juvenile panel. So I will actually get mentees that are referred from the juvenile system to work with us. So yes, I act as a liaison and I'm on the panel.
Okay, so you get juveniles referred to you.
Yes.
Through the court system.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so Mothers Against Gang Violence, the court says we're going to send you Tony.
Yes.
Tony comes to you because he's been court ordered.
Yes.
So then what happens once Tony gets to MAG-V?
So basically how it is these are some youth between, I want to say 12 to maybe 15. They have not actually been, that caught up in the judicial system. Okay. So they go through a brief probationary period. So they may have jumped the rails at the train station, or they did I don't want to say petty shoplifting because all shoplifting is bad, but it's under a certain amount. Exactly. Yeah. And so what they do is they have to come through our Choices Forward Thinking program that's held at South DeKalb Precinct. I actually sit on the panel with a few the major of DeKalb County, mental health, different individuals who have been sworn in. And what they do is we review the case with the youth and their parent, and then we decide what is the consequence of their youth. So if that youth and that parent, doesn't follow up with the consequences that were rendered through sitting on that panel, then their case can go back up before the judge and it can be seen as a higher. It can be,
Okay. So, explain the panel to me again. So
the panel is a group of community members. So it can be myself, a mental health behavior individual. It can be a police officer. I'm with the DeKalb County South Precinct. So we have the major of the South Precinct. We have a substance abuse, a community person, community member, myself that has the organization, and we have to be sworn in through the judge to say that this program is legitimate, where these youth can be a part of these programs, and we sit on the panel and we hear cases.
Okay, so you're not really dealing with felonies. You're dealing with more
misdemeanors,
yes, petty crimes.
Yes, because we're trying to stop those youth from becoming re-entry juvenile youth, going back and forth in and out of juvenile. So we get them at a younger age. I want to say between 12 and 14, where they are just being introduced to criminal activities. Okay.
And so you mentioned your son earlier, and you said he's serving 10 years.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how he ended up in that situation?
Definitely. Okay. Again, like I stated, I am a mother. I don't really like to say single mom because but I do share that I was a single mom of 4 sons. Okay. I have Wow. Okay. I have a 22-year-old football scholar at South Carolina State University.
Congrats.
Account major. He will be a senior in May.
Okay. Congrats.
And I also have my son Devon Morris, who's 18 years old, currently serving 10 years at Albury's facility, prison correctional facility.
Okay.
Through that, Devon was actually he was a little trouble. He was very athletic, but he got caught up to the peer pressures and the things of, in the streets as far as stealing, burglary, and things of that nature. I've always been a PTA mom, a booster mom. And so when he started getting in trouble, I was having to take parenting classes.
Right.
I just had a schedule when I get off work. I always had to be at the court system. It was just like I was the juvenile.
Right.
And I had to, and I was mandated, because if you're not mandated, if you don't go, then you could be in contempt of court as a parent.
Okay.
And so with doing this, I wanted to know, okay, so why do you feel like you have to be a part of being introduced to these criminal activities? Who are your new friends? I wanted to meet these individuals because I was always a community mom.
Right.
I thought I knew all of your friends.
Right.
Okay, so before that, I'm like, okay, let me start an organization, Mothers Against Gang Violence, because I'll be your gang. I will be your person. You have brothers, you have siblings. Let's see what we can do to prevent you from leaving home or thinking you have to do all of these criminalized activities. Right. And so he just wasn't hearing me at that moment. And so due to him not hearing me, his circumstances, he caught a burglary charge, a little higher than the burglary, and he caught 10 years. And so within him catching,
sorry to hear that.
I cried.
I know you did. Shoot.
I went through depression. I went to counseling because I felt like I'm a good mom. I lived in a great community. You know how they say all crime are in low income communities.
Yeah, that's
not true.
Yeah,
it's not true at all. He was always introduced to mentors, individuals that could lift him up. It's just that he chose to, follow behind someone that, that he chose that showed him something different. And it was glorious in his eyes. And therefore, everything, like they said, the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Right.
And so he had to see that personally.
So do you think it was just the peer pressure that got him caught up? Do you think it was he needed some type of sense of adventure? What do you think it was that caused him? Because you just said you're there, you're involved in school, in the community.
Yes.
So what do you think it was that it just wasn't connecting with him in the message that you were giving him?
Identity, peer pressure, material things. And now we're talking to him. He always say, "Mom, it's not you." And it was always, when the Jordans or different clothing came out, they want you to be in the line. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not in the line. So, or kids use excuses with I don't want to put too much pressure on you. I know you can't buy me this, so I'm going to go how to get in my way. So that's not pressure.
So them going to get it their way, they don't think that's pressure and stress on you?
At the time, they don't. They think I'm taking care of myself. I'm becoming independent. I'm developing a name for myself. And so, and that's what we get from a lot of youth. And I always tell my youth today, don't take anything from any stranger, because eventually you're going to have to make up and give them.
Right.
In return.
To your point of that, let me just say, what do you say? Don't take anything from strangers?
No.
To that point, I've been in the entertainment industry 13 years.
Yes, sir.
And people try to give you stuff, buy your stuff, do things for you. I have never, in the 13 years I've been doing this, taking any money from anyone. Because like you said, you don't know what people are attaching to something as small as $5 or $10. And they'll act like you owe them a whole blood transfusion because you gave them $10. You know what I mean? And so I had to train myself to be like that, because I don't do other people's expectations of me, unless it was my mother, of course. My mother was the only one. And so I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to you say you were a good mom, involved in school, involved in the community. And let me just commend you for that, because Not all parents are doing that. So when this happened with your son, what was his name? Devon.
Yes.
Did you feel mom guilt?
I felt mom guilt. I was embarrassed, because again, I was a community advocate. So I explained to someone that's like a preacher's kid.
Right. Yeah. You know how the PK games, he ain't supposed to do nothing.
The preacher, yes, right.
She like,
yes, the preacher kid. They like always they're rebelling because your dad or your mom are at church. So I'm like the PTA mom, the booster mom. I'm like, I'm trying to save everybody else. I'm like, well, how could I not save my own? So I felt like he was rebelling against me. So I would go places and they would say, Miss TK, oh, that's Noonie, because his nickname was Noonie. That's Noonie mom. And I'd be like, that's who? like who? Like, because I never, every time you go somewhere, people, are you all right? Are you okay? I heard. You good? And I didn't want people to feel sorry for me.
Throw you a pity party and all that stuff, right?
No, I didn't want people to feel sorry, but then I had to come out of that funk.
Okay, so, and I asked that question because I was a pretty rambunctious child. I never got into legal trouble, but I would get in trouble at school and other things. And anytime I did anything wrong, my mother went down this guilt trip road. And I did this and I gave you this and I taught you better than this. I raised you better than that. And I would look at her and like, Mom, I'm 15, I'm 16, 17 years old. I'm old enough to make my own decisions now. You didn't tell me to do this. I decided on my own once I thought about it and felt like it was the best choice for me. So why is that a thing? Why do mothers do that? Like, why? Because y'all take on so much of the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment and stuff that you just mentioned, even when the child is telling you is nothing that you necessarily did wrong. Why is that a thing? An
image as a parent. You just want to be seen as a great parent. You don't want to be seen as a form of, I neglected him in some type of way. Being in a single, was it because I didn't have a great relationship? And, I didn't show you that I could be worthy of having a great relationship, as a mother.
Right.
So I became very guilty of, or felt guilty. Were you born a couple of minutes early? Like, like I was thinking, what?
You going through everything.
I was going through everything. Like,
were you born a few minutes early?
Yeah, you know how they say premature children.
Right.
Like, he was 5
she tried to put it on the preemie baby and everything.
Yes, like
you really,
yeah. Like if I'm premature, was I stressing when I was pregnant? What did I do? So I blame myself for a whole lot.
So, are those feelings? How long has he been locked up?
It will be going on 2 years now. 2 years. 2
years.
Yes. And he has been in prison only 4 months, but he did a year.
Okay.
In county.
Okay. So, are any of those feelings still there? And
no.
No. Okay, that's good. Mm-mm. And how did you deal with those feelings? How did you overcome?
The organization.
The organization.
Okay. When sometimes working with my youth, and even though I have my young lady right here with me, Tasia, but I am a strong advocate of saving I don't want to say young African-American males, just males in general, because we have so many services for our young ladies. And as you can see, I was a social worker for 12 years for prenatal infant mortality.
Okay.
And so with me being in social services and I was working with a lot of teenagers, I never saw those services rendered to the teenage fathers. And so I always have been a dad advocate, stating that we got to show these young men how to be dads. And so I was always, we got to show them how to change Pampers. So I'm like, okay, I have sons. I have 4.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that those services were given to our young men. So everything that I do to provide resources for our young men so that we can expose them to different lifestyles. Everybody want to be rappers. Everybody want to be basketball stars. Right. So I did a cooking competition for my young men. You can be a cook.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Yes,
Now. Outside the box.
Yes, outside the box.
I like that.
Yeah. So it was stirring up success. It was a cooking competition. And so I just wanted to provide those same resources to the young men so that they can feel empowered. Okay.
So you mentioned the services that you provide. I'm gonna get you here in a second, Tasia. You mentioned the services you provide. So what all services do you offer through Mothers Against Gang Violence?
Substance abuse services. We do Teen Talk out of the West End Branch Library. That's on 525 People Street in Atlanta. Then we are doing the Forward Thinking, Freedom is a Choice Forward Thinking curriculum class right here program, and you can get one of the flyers, and that is in Southwest DeKalb, the police precinct.
Okay.
So I'm so glad to have that class in the precinct because you see now we have so many of our youth getting shot or having encounters with the police department. And so with us having that class there, it shows that you don't have to, every time you come in the police department, it doesn't have to be fear or being arrested. You can come in there to receive education. You can come in there with peace.
Right.
And so for the South DeKalb major, the precincts, to allow us to have those classes there, it helps build a relationship between our youth and the police officers.
Yes. Right. And so when the youth are going into these programs with the police officers, is there apprehension? Because I know I grew up in the hood and it was never a positive, there go a policeman, let me go thank him for helping our community or shake his hand because he's here. It was like, oh Lord, the cops, go the other way. You know what I mean? Like it was.
The police, they come in just as a source of support, but the program I partner with Freedom is a Choice, Mr. Omar Howard, and with that program, so we are working with men who from reentry, so they've been down the path. So we have Omar, Laji, Karsten. I have a lot of mentors that I work with that actually facilitate. So it's not the officers that's facilitating the class. It's the guys that have volunteered their time to mentor and to come into this facility to assist. They have been incarcerated. Okay. I'm not saying for 6 months. I'm not saying for 5 months.
Right.
10 years, 8 years, 25 years. And, the tables turned and they were able to be free.
Right.
So it's like I'm not that everyday guy. You could just tell me anything. Like, I've been down this road, dude, and I can tell you where you're trying to go, or tell her where you're trying to go is not really where you want to be.
Right.
It's just that we have the support of the police officer, but the actual facilitation are actual individuals who are coming from a reentry program.
Who've been there and done that. Okay. And so does that relationship work better for the youth that is coming through? Because, they said you can't teach somebody about something unless you've experienced or been through it. Right. So I would think because they've lived their life that they would be able to have a better rapport with the young people that's coming through there.
Ask the question again.
Do the young people take to them better than they would to the others, if it was the officers?
Definitely.
Teaching?
They definitely, because actually we have a mentor program. So therefore, we not only just working with them in the classroom, we work with them outside the classroom.
Okay.
And that's how I started working with Tasia. Tasia is actually a student at Cedar Grove High School. And so now we are partnering with Cedar Grove High School through a behavior program. And so what we're doing is we're doing behavior intervention. So where a lot of students are being suspended for 10 days, 3 days, depending on whether it's they cut school, whether they just disrespected the teacher, depending on the severity of the suspension.
Right.
To eliminate the youth for just being out on the streets, not having anything to do.
Getting into other stuff.
Yes, we have a Saturday school, and so the youth actually come to our Saturday school, and then when they show up, that will eliminate them being suspended, so then they could come back to school on Monday. But if they do not come, so it's not only we're not staying, then we call them. So we have contact, like we're on spring break, and And Tasia, you know, she has some makeup work and she has some things to do. And her nana called me yesterday and she was like, Miss TK, I'm bored. I'm like, okay, Tasia, meet me here at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm coming to pick you up. Let's do this, because her mind could stray to, she want to leave out the house. She want to do something different. So let me bring you somewhere where you can focus on what the positive part of life. And so we actually have contact with them more than just, you know, a monthly session. We stay in. And then we do field trips as well.
Okay. And so I was going to ask, is your program primarily just for boys? But I know you have Tasia here too. But you've been talking a lot about the young men and the programs for the men. So what do you have going on for the young ladies?
Well, what we have now for the young ladies is through the juvenile system. They have been recommending ladies, and then we have a lot of moms that reach out to us on social media and say, okay, what about the girls? And so we have a few girls that come in, and I'll let Tasia kind of explain some things that we have done recently. And we don't kind of keep the girls and the guys together, because if you have the girls and the guys together, they're not focused. They're focused on, oh man,
I know I wouldn't be.
Man, she. Okay, man, she fine.
She did. Yeah, I know. I would not be focused when I was that age. I promise you, I had a problem back then.
So definitely, we don't have the girls and the guys together, except when we're doing the forward thinking. But when we do the field trips, we try to separate them and do activities together. So, Tasia, you want to say what type of activities?
Come on in here, Tasia. What's your thoughts on the MAG V program, and tell me some of the things that you've done?
Well, I like it, because if it wasn't for them, I would have got kicked out of school and would have turned to school.
Okay, well, thank God for you, because we don't want that, Miss Tasia.
I did Saturday school, and Miss TK was like, I want you to come do a prom drive. So I was like, okay. She talked to my mom and she came and got me the next day. And we went up there. We did a prom drive. We did regular clothes to give back to the girls that couldn't afford dresses for prom this year. Like we did. They get their hair done, makeup, pick out your dress, your shoes, and everything. Then we supposed to be going. We always do activities. Like today, I helped her around the office and stuff. Cause like she told you, I don't like sitting at home. I'm ready to go.
So you mentioned the prom drive. So that's where y'all collect prom clothes for people who can't afford. So is it just dresses for the girls, or is it suits for the guys too?
Well, this year, this event was through Vavoon and Kathy Women's University, and so these were just dresses for the girls. But I actually did a prom extravaganza with Gwynette's, and so the prom extravaganza, again, I'm pro young men all the time, and I'm like, okay, y'all getting the girl dresses, but they need dates. They have dates,
right? Yeah.
So nobody never think of. So the prom extravaganza, they gave the suits away for the young men. So they it was actually 2 drives. So,
man,
yes,
that's powerful.
I keep my guys on point.
I got now. How can myself or anyone else that would like to get involved with Mothers Against Gang Violence, how can we get involved? Where can we find you at also?
Actually, again, like I stated, we're at DeKalb South Precinct every 3rd Tuesday of the month, and that's by South DeKalb Mall. And then also you can go to my website, www.magviolence.com. And we have events that are posted up on our website.
Okay.
And forward thinking, we also.
Okay. Miss Tasia, so what other things you've been doing with Mothers Against Gang Violence?
Well, I be staying out of trouble. Like, since I don't got back to school, I'm currently on probation.
Okay.
So for her to help me out, it slendered down how many months I got left on probation and stuff.
So you got some of the time cut.
Yeah, because I got it all the way to 12th grade to get it together.
Okay.
Or I'll be in a juvenile court system. But if it wasn't for Miss TK and them, I would probably be locked up somewhere.
Well, we
doing
don't
time.
we don't want you to be locked up doing time. We want you to finish this school. You're very beautiful. I can tell you're a smart young lady. You speak well. Said you was a model, so I know you can work the runway and the camera. So you got talents, you got gifts, you know what I mean? And nobody told you today that they believe in you. I believe in you.
Definitely.
So, you know, keep on the right path. Stick to Miss TK side like glue. And I see a bright future ahead of you.
Too.
Thank you.
So from a youth perspective, why do you think so many children get caught up in the gang life and the street life and selling drugs and shooting and all of the craziness that's going on out there?
I feel like the kids, us now, I feel like we're just trying to follow into somebody else's footsteps because I got my daddy that's locked up. I got a cousin that's locked up for gang violence. She done shot somebody in the head.
Ooh, Lord.
So wow. I feel like my other cousin, he didn't want to follow into my other cousin's footsteps. So he done went to military school and got his stuff together and now home with a GED.
Okay, excellent.
And I feel like I wanted to follow behind my daddy, but I was like, no, I can't even do it. So I try my best to try to do my work and stuff at school. Try not to get in trouble. Try not to get disrespectful or smart with any adults.
Okay. So you don't want to follow anybody's footsteps. That's great. Sir. That's wonderful. So what is it in? It's very easy for young people in our community to get caught up in the system, usually because they are following in somebody else's steps, whether it was a father, a cousin, an uncle, a friend, whoever it may be. So what do you think it is about you yourself that says, I've seen it, I know what's going on, but that's not what I want for my life?
Why? I feel like, because after I don't see my daddy and my cousins get locked up, I haven't seen my daddy in 5 years.
Wow.
So I felt some type of way, and I haven't seen my cousin in over about 3 to 2 years.
Right.
So I felt some type of way, like, no, I got to try to straighten up. Like, I want to pursue my dreams and go to LSU.
LSU?
I want to do CSI and criminal justice.
Okay. I was a criminal justice major at FAMU. I don't know about LSU, but I was a FAMU Rattler, HBCU in the house. But that's great. You know, it's great you already have a plan for your life. Now you just have to take the steps, with school being the main one.
At home, I gotta try to fix everything.
Yeah, but you already got a plan.
You have it.
And if you just stick to that, you'll be good to go. And don't fall to the peer pressure and, like you said, following other people's footsteps. The best thing young people can do is think for themselves. And I can say when I was your age, I was never in the gangs and streets and drugs. I was too scared of my mama.
Really?
I think I'm from that generation that was really scared of their mama. But I had cousins, uncles, family, friends, everybody that was involved in things. But I think it was the fear of my mom, but it was also, I didn't want to do anything to embarrass my mother, like you said. And my mother worked in the school system and she knew a lot of people. So I just didn't go that route. Tasia, what do you think for young girls, why do you think it's so easy to go down that path?
I feel like it's easy for us to go down that path because we see what other girls do. We see how older girls hang around with folks. Oh, I want to be like them. Oh, like for instance, I'm in 9th grade. I see little 12th graders, 11th grade walking around doing them, smoking weed, this and that. Sometimes I be like, I want to try. Like, let me.
Yeah, because
it's cool because I see everybody else doing it. But when you really get this seeing how it really go and how it mess up your life, I fall back.
Okay, well that's good. Just keep thinking positive. The more you think positive, the more you'll be positive. That's all I can say. And don't just stay on the positive path. I'm proud of. I don't even know you. But just the fact that you have that dream to go to LSU and be criminal justice, CSI.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So I know
Thank
you can
you.
do that. What do you think we need to do to keep young folks focused on school and not on the street life?
I think for us young folks to stay in school and stuff, like make it more interesting while we in class. Cause you got folks that fall asleep in class. You got folks that just
True.
stop doing work, get bored. Like me, I still do. I stopped doing my work because it be so boring. Like you're not putting no interest into the work for me to want to do it. But like Miss TK keep getting on me about, oh no, you walking across that stage,
Right.
Yeah, you graduating on time. So I feel like in order for them to keep us in school, make it more fun for us to want to go to school, make us want to do our work.
What would make school more interesting for you?
Like for us to do our work, like put it in an activity that we can understand. Put it
Make it more relatable.
Yeah, put it in words that we know how to
relate to.
Relate to. Gotcha. Okay. And that makes sense. That makes, and see, I was a teacher and I taught first and second grade in Bankhead. And it's a bunch of information that students really don't understand it. They don't think they're gonna use it in life. I had second graders that had checked out of school because it wasn't keeping their attention and it wasn't something that they felt like they wanted to do. You know what I mean? And so I had second grader tell me he was going to drop out of school and go sell drugs for his uncle. And then when I got in his face, tell him he don't talk like that in my school, he told me he was going to have his uncle come to the school and shoot me. Mm-hmm. At second grade, I was stupefied by this. Like my mind was blown to see that kind of attitude in a child that was so young.
I actually went to Woodson Academy over off of Bankhead.
Okay.
And I actually started the program there as well. The principal allowed me to come for those youth. And a lot of people do not understand that these were 4th and 5th grader.
Okay.
They can have so many responsibilities that they were trying to figure out how to feed their grandparents because, their parents were out of their life.
Yeah.
So what I started doing is I was going to the food pantry and I would bring them box so that when they leave school, they will have food and not worry about how their parents or their grandparents. And so I do relate to having all of these youth. We had one he was in the 5th grade and they were bullying him. And the next day at the bus stop, him and some of his homeboys or gang members, and see that's what I teach my parents. So I do a workshop called Parent Communication Workshop. Okay. Where you know what to look for when your child is being. They call the young middle school runt crew. So they started
the runt crew. Okay.
So that means they started from elementary because these are the ones that are doing like the slider crimes that are not going to get time because the juvenile system have point systems. Okay. And so you can get locked up and they're stealing the cars and they're taking them, convincing them you ain't gonna do no time. But see, once you accumulate so many points, that's when the years and the months and everything start coming on. Yes. Yeah. And they are working with our youth from 3rd and 5th grade. And so I do agree with, oh, I'm gonna have they gonna shoot your tires out your car, or I gotta go get my insulin. Like these young youth in some of these communities have grown people issues when you have so many parents, mothers and dads that are being incarcerated and they're being raised by their grandparents, and so they feel like they have they have to take care of home. Is it an excuse? No, it's not an excuse, but therefore us parents, we have to make better choices so that our children do not feel like they have to live like adults. Right.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. When I was teaching in Bankhead, I wrote a poem called The Inner Voice of a Ghetto Child. And I was writing from the perspective of my students and how they had to go home and take care of their 5, 6 siblings. How they had to go home and their parents might be passed out drunk or on drugs, and they got to figure out not only what to do with their parents, but what to do with their siblings and how to feed them. I had one student, he was known as the smelly child, but I don't know if they didn't have water, but he never took baths, and so he got bullied for that. And so these children deal with all of these adult issues. I had one 3rd grade little girl, her mother tried to put her in child prostitution. So this broad range of heavy adult activities and things that's going on around these children, and then they come to school and the teacher's yelling at them for not having pencils and paper.
I've been yelled at all day.
Right. You looking like I had to get my grandma out of a drunk stupor and put her in the bed and stuff, and then take care of my siblings, and you yelling at me because I ain't got a pencil. Like, I'm about to snap on you right now because, you know, these children be under a lot of pressure.
They do.
And I wrote that poem, and it ended up being 4 pages long. But it just told the story of so many of those children. And I moved to the hood when I was in 6th grade. So I was middle school. So for me to see so many young children going through all of these adult situations just really, really weighed very heavily on me. And I don't think, matter of fact, I know that people don't take that into consideration when they're dealing with these children, because even the teachers at the school, a lot of teachers were very mean to the students. And I prided myself on meeting the child where they were and trying to get an understanding of what was going on at home so I could better deal with the child, or know how to deal with the child, and have an understanding of kind of what was going on in the household.
That's actually what I took to the prison, because even though I was interactive when my son became incarcerated, so as people know, you go to Jackson if you ever been in prison. You have to go through the diagnostics, and that where they fit the level 1 to level 2 to see what level prison you go to, whether it's maximum, whether it's mediocre or lower, you know. And so once my son was transferred, I called to the prison, and a lot of parents don't know this, is you don't have to stop being a part of your child's life because they're incarcerated. Right. And so I called and I said, well, you know, I introduced myself. My name is Miss Shields. I'm such and such mother, and I have an organization. But how about I be your prison PTA mom? And the counselor was like, what? I'm like, I mean, well, if I'm a PTA mom on the streets, why I can't be a PTA mom in the prison? Because he still goes to school. Right. And so, you know, me going to workshop and learning things, people don't understand your child still can get an education while they're incarcerated. Okay. My son is not in GED. He's receiving his high school diploma. Okay. Okay. That's good. His high school diploma. So therefore, we still have a say. You just for some parents, it's just, man, he gone. I can sleep at night. I don't have to worry about that no more. Like, no, like, let, you know, because you're tired of the stressing. You're tired of worrying if they're going to sneak out the window. You're tired of worrying about if your home going to get shot up. So that's like a stressor off of you. Yeah. But it's not a stressor, because then that's where the reentry come from. They look for your child to come back because they're not giving the support. They need that support when they are incarcerated, so that you know, they can believe that they will never go back. You know, somebody got to look out for them. If you don't call down them, let them know that they can go to school, they're not going to put your child in school. Oh, yeah, right now. You know, they're going to get up on bed count, but they have school, they have reentry activities, they have a lot of different programs. And one thing that I did find out is, when to come up for parole, you have to be in a lot of, whether it's Alcohol Anonymous, whether it's church. So if you're not in those programs when you're in prison, when it come up time for parole, sometimes you can be denied. So when it's time for you to go back and they say, well, what have you done? You've been here for 5 years or 2 years, and you haven't done it, you're not ready for parole. Right. So then when you go back and try to get in a program, like, no, it's too late. Okay. You should have been doing this while you was in here. So I've learned to tell parents. I tell my son, I don't care if you got to go praise the Lord every day. I don't care if you never smoke a weed or whatever. Go to every class. Go participate in every counseling session, because it shows that you're not just being a lazy, laid back. Do something with your life. Right. You can get college scholarships in prison. So. So he will be working with service animals once he graduates high school. They have a high school graduation. Okay. With cap and gowns in prison. Really? Yes. Okay. But if your parent don't know that, so that's my job to go out and teach the parents. Okay, let's save the ones that we have out here, but let's educate the ones that we know how to educate while they're in there. Yeah. Not just leave them lingering. Right. Yeah. I like that. That's really good. I commend you for the work you're doing. PTA prison mom. I like that. You can't be ashamed anymore. So can you share with us some of the gangs that's in the Atlanta area, or that
the children are in that have come through your program? Because the only ones I know are the Bloods and Crips.
The Blood, and well, now that they have the hybrid games, so the hybrid games are community games that are connectors into. So you have the slimes.
I've seen slime tagged on different stuff.
Yes, you have with the Rolling 60 Crips.
Rolling 60s. Okay, I only know that because Nipsey Hussle was a Rolling 60s Crip. Rest in peace to him.
Yes, rest in peace.
He just died to what they're saying is gang violence. They're saying it was someone that he knew who was also a Rolling Crip that he had beef with, and they got into something and he got killed. Unfortunately, he was shot 6 times. And so that's the life you're trying to save these children from. And it's a noble work. Yes. Let me just tell you.
They have to trust you. Trust and consistency is key with our youth.
Yeah, you're right. So we got slime, Rolling 60s. I want you to name someone so some of the parents out there listening would know.
Yes, we have on the slime. They have Sex, Money, Murder.
What? That's the name of a youth game.
That's the name of a youth game.
Sex, Money, Murder.
Yes.
Wow. And you got Mob. Yes. You got Duct Tape Mob.
And these are Bloods. So these are hybrid games. So even though we're saying Sex, Money, Murder, Rolling 60s, if you look on, and I created a dictionary, it's called New Generation Communication Dictionary. And so I tell the parents, this is a workshop that I do with the parents. When you look on your youth social media and you see like the snakes, their names, and you see the snakes on and the needles with the blood drip, that can let you know that your child is potentially a part of a gang. If you see them with the handicap sign, where we were having our car, this handicapped man, and upside down, as you know, the wheel is considered a Crip sign.
Oh, wow. They're getting creative with it.
Very creative. So they don't have to say, I'm a Blood, I'm a Crip. So they use the emojis to tell their story, to say, I'm a needle, blood, drip, drip, and all of this. And you want to go ahead and continue to name?
Lord.
You got PDE.
What's that?
It's a Blood game. Yeah. Then you got Great Street. That's a Crip game.
Great Street?
Yes. You got Murder.
Just Murder?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it?
That's enough.
That's enough. You right. That's enough.
We gotta make sure we can make it to the car.
It's making my head hurt. Lord,
we gotta make sure we can make it to the car.
I'm glad you said that, because there has to be. Are you concerned about a certain level of violence coming your way because you're trying to prevent so many youth from going down that path? Because there's always somebody who don't want you doing the work you doing, because you're ultimately messing up somebody's recruitment process. You know what I mean? So do you feel threatened at all or in any way, and do you take necessary precautionary steps?
I feel threatened a lot. I walk like I stated, I have 4 sons. My youngest is 14.
Okay.
He's very active, very friendly, and I'm so strict. He's like, Mom, can I go here? Can I do this? And he always like, well, Mom, you don't let me do anything because of what Noonie did, and that's my son incarcerated.
Right.
I wouldn't let him stand at the bus stop because I would make sure he got on the bus, because I want to make sure nobody would come and retaliate. He's in the 8th grade. He's in high school now, but he's in the 8th, and I take him to school every day. But he was in the 8th grade. From the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I stayed at the bus stop all the way until he got on that bus. I felt that he was I would not let him wear any of his brother clothing.
Right.
Because I don't know what you were doing. My home has been shot up. So
really?
Yes. So I don't tell too many people, but I moved, and I don't let a lot of people know where I live at because of certain things. So I live in a lot of caution, and sometimes it takes a toll on my 14-year-old son, because a lot of people do come to him when they need help, and they be like, call your mom. Even Tasia be like, man, call your mom. And sometimes he just will not, and I'll be like, Jalen, well, they may have needed me right then. And he like, Mom, I can't help you save everybody, which he will.
Right.
He'll let me know, but I really walk in a lot of precautions, and I have individuals say, well, TK, stop trying to take on so much. You know, I feel that with what happened with my son, that I have to save somebody because I feel like I didn't save my son. So when you say, where did it come to? It comes to the program, because I don't want them to be judgmental to everything that the youth doing. We have a lot of youth, they have the tattoos all over their face. I work with Ink Redemption, and I take these youth and have these tattoos removed from their face because everybody say, well, you can't do this. Why you get that on their face? You ain't gonna never be nothing.
Right.
Show them what they can be. If you show the youth what they can be, then they may change.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Don't ever tell them what they cannot be. Show them things of my son that's in college. He was a highly recruited football. He has a full ride scholarship.
Okay.
Now in the Bankhead and Washington High School and a lot of Carver, you know, we have a lot of recruited youth that are not recruited by the D1 college, which my son is at an HBCU school. Okay. But I told the coaches, well, you have my son now. How can you help me help recruit some of these other kids that don't know about college? So next Saturday, I'm taking some youth to South Carolina on the college, because take them out of their community,
out of the environment,
out of their environments, and show them something different. So I walk in fear, but my fear is to save them. Okay.
And so when, well, I'm assuming your son Devon,
yes, was
in one of the games.
I don't really say that because he's still, you know, case open and he's incarcerated. So say no more. That's why I was treading lightly. Look, I know about that street life.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the book that you mentioned? New Generation Communication
Dictionary.
Yes. And this is a book you're selling.
This is a book. It is actually a brochure. Yes, you can go on my website. Yes, and I give it out in my workshops. So yes.
And it will help parents get an understanding of the lingo and the emojis and all the symbols and stuff that the young folks are using today.
Yes, sir. So say for instance, you're standing over your child. It's SOH, POH, parent over shoulder. So your child could be texting and they may say POS, the parent over the shoulder. That means watch what you say. So they're telling the person to watch what they say, or what it is. Let's eat. Mean let's go steal a car, or gang, you know, is, you know, different type of drugs. And so it gives you different. So if you go through your children messages and you see the languages, it give you, let's get naked, you know, this is sexual. We have a lot of sex trafficking. We have a lot of young ladies. So it lets you know, outside, send me a picture. So all of these, emojis, all of these acronyms, you know, they say read between the lines. You got to learn your youth acronyms, so it teaches you what to look for when your child is being initiated to gang activities or sex trafficking.
Okay, and do you have this New Generation Communication Dictionary in schools? Like it need to be in schools.
It needs to be. So what I can say in Cedar Grove High is my pilot. So I'm going to shout out to Cedar Grove because they actually just opened up the doors. We've only did 2 Saturday schools now for, you know, individuals, administrative, to really say that there's a problem in the school, because at one point a lot of schools were saying there was no problem, it's no gang activities. We were having that, and so that's why I was at the libraries and we were at the police precinct, because a lot of schools weren't allowing us to come into the schools. Now that they are seeing that it's really a concern in the school, they are allowing us to come into schools.
So they were saying there was no gang activity when there actually was. So what I don't understand. What would be the point in doing? Is it trying to protect the image of the school? Like,
yeah, you know, a lot of schools is on. We have the highest number of individuals that are graduating with $330 million in scholarships. But when you get those scholarships, you said it at graduation, but when it's time to go to school, how many people are actually using all of that money for those scholarships?
Right.
None. Yeah. Athletic. You have a lot of athletes. They may sign on signing day, but how many are going to school their freshman year, then making it to their sophomore year? None. So we have to address the issue that image, you want principal of the year, you want student of the year, and that's what it's an image. It's political, but right now, like you stated, we have a dramatic concern with our youth because in 2020, if we keep going the rate we see, we're not gonna even have 100 kids to graduate.
Right. I'm like, children are dying, and they're concerned about awards and
accolades and
that's okay. But I don't buy into stuff like that because when I was teaching, I taught during the Atlanta public school cheating scandal. You remember that?
I do.
And that's what made me leave. But people who I knew, it seemed to be okay with everybody else, but I couldn't stomach that type of stuff. And I'm like, y'all worried about money and awards and miles and all this stuff, and I'm like, y'all pushing these children into the school to prison pipeline. Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, me too.
That's all I could see. And so I quit teaching in the middle of my third year. And when I quit, I had a vision to build a performing arts school for inner city kids. Because when I was there, I had a hip hop dance team because that's what I did at FAMU.
Okay.
So I taught, I had to clean up some of my college dances and teach it to the children. And then I put on a talent show at the school. And that's when I first realized that so many of our children have gifts and talents that go unnoticed and unnurtured. And that they could use to put into something positive. If there's nothing positive to direct that into, then what's left? The negative. And so that's how I ended up doing what I'm doing now. When I left, I had the vision to build a school. So I was like, I wanted to build my own school from the ground up.
I want one too.
And I'm like, how much? It was like $30-40 million at the time. And I was like, well, what industry can I go in and make that kind of money? Oh, the entertainment industry. I thought it was going to be easy. Nobody never needs to make that mistake. But I thought it would be easy. It hasn't been. So I've been doing entertainment 13 years now. And I'm just now getting to a point where things are starting to come together. But I say all that to say, I now have a nonprofit organization called Alchemy Artists Inc., which provides educational services and talent and development services for youth ages 5 to 18. Okay. Because, like I said, when I realized there that our children have so many gifts and talents that go unnurtured, so I'm like, they need something and someone who will help them develop their gifts and talents and then give them opportunities so they can share their gifts and talents with the world. And so that's what I'm doing through my nonprofit, and next month will be a year that I've been incorporated. Okay. And so I just feel like, I know that students need something else to do other than sitting around the house thinking of things, thinking of ways that they can get into trouble. Yes. Right. And so again, that's why I admire what you do with your program, and you're really, that gang stuff is pretty serious. And you just said your house has been shot up, you've had to move. So I totally respect you for what you're doing. And if there's anything I can do to help in any kind of way, let me know. If you have any events or drives again, I'll help in any way I can.
Thank you so much.
Because I believe in reaching out to our youth and pulling in as many as we can. We ain't gonna get all of them.
We're not.
But you can only do your part. And I can see the impact that I've had on children when I go and speak at the career days and go read books at Real Men Read and all of this stuff. Like, they need to see black men in positive images, because too often on the news, the media is displaying us as thugs and villains, and the movies is displaying us as thugs and villains. The songs are portraying us as thugs and villains. So every direction you look, it's negative images of people that look like you being put out there. And if you don't have the mental fortitude to navigate, I tell children all the time that there are traps set for you all in this life. And if you don't know how to navigate and be aware of the traps that are there, you're going to fall right into them. And I've been blessed to not fall into those traps, or even been able to see the traps and been able to go around it. And so, my ultimate goal is to educate these children and show them that there's another way than the street life, because too many of us end up in prison for life, or dead.
Yes.
And though there are way more options to life than just right. And so we just got to keep fighting the good fight. And so you mentioned community resources on your website. So how important is it for a community to have resources?
It's very important for a community because we're dealing with a lot of mental health, within our youth.
Yeah.
And so we're not facing the mental health that we're dealing, and we're contributing, I would say, with all this synthetic marijuana, all this, different substances that we're drinking, this, things of that nature, and just generational mental health. So we're saying, ain't nothing wrong. Don't cry. You are right. Man up.
Man, I was about to say,
man up. And like, you like, man, how you gonna tell me to man up and I ain't never been a man? You know what I'm saying? Like, my mother passed when I was 18, and I tell my sons, I'm like, my mother taught me how to be a teenager. She never taught me how to be an adult, not because she didn't, but she passed before my adult ages.
Right.
So now that, I'm older, I'm learning a whole lot. Even though, my sons called me one time and they was like, Mom, I want you to reach out to my dad and I want you to humble yourself and I want you to, and I did it. I was like, okay, so if I ever did anything to hurt you, like I said, all I want is my son wants you to come and visit him in college and my son just wants you to come and visit him and I'm sorry.
Right.
I did that for my son.
For your son, right.
Yes, but I'm like,
that's commendable too.
I ain't different to keep apologizing.
Oh no, you get one time, but
you get one time. So,
but that's big though. That's a huge step in not only healing for you, but for your son.
Yeah, and I'm like, whatever I can do to heal them and make them feel peace and comfort.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to them, and so that's what we as parents we need to take ownership in things that we have shown them.
Yeah,
and we need to say, I may have done this, but it's not okay. And then children can always say, well, you got suspended or you made a D. Like, were you there when I made that D in class? Were you there? You know what I'm saying? They like to say that a lot. So, mental health, research and substance abuse. Definitely mentoring for our guys, having things consistent. We have a lot of recreation centers, allowing allowing the youth to come in, but making sure that we have stable security. Please don't judge me when I say this. Security, we have security guards everywhere. You always have a 250-pound or 300-pound security guard in the recreation center, so they're not gonna be able to chase the kids. You gotta be able to have somebody who can really put their feet down. Like, man, bro, you if you're coming in here for the game or you coming in here for the game room, don't put nobody in there they don't respect or who gonna start trapping out of the recreation center. We have.
You did not say start trapping out the rec center.
Yes, I did.
Penny, you is not finished. It means selling drugs out the recreation center. Yeah, you in the old school lingo. I need you to get the new generation communication dictionary so you know what's going on up here, okay?
So kids. So we have to be mindful who we let around our kids because we have older individuals to say, I'm taking this job because I'm a felon and this is the only job I can get, but then this gonna be my side hustle, so I'm gonna use this kid.
That's not.
We have to be mindful of the different things that we show, and so again, we have the community centers, but making sure we have the appropriate safety in those community centers and activity, reading clubs. It don't always have to be basketball, football.
Yeah,
robotics.
Yeah,
it doesn't always have to be something at baseball, track. Something where I can come and I can sit and do my homework because I don't have a computer at home.
Right.
I did that before.
You did what before?
I used to sell weed. My mom used to ask me where I got all the money from. But I used to say, one day I went home and left a book bag. And it had the stuff in there. And it had the whole house smelling. So she asked me, she called, she said, whose stuff this is? And I used to lie and be like, oh, it's not mine. Somebody left it in my book bag that I gave to him. But
somebody left in my book bag.
I stopped doing it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
what it was gonna lead to.
I'm sitting here thinking you just told me you in the 9th grade, and then when did you used to sell stuff? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Middle school, I used to follow behind my cousins.
Middle school. Okay. Wow, that's
no names.
Yeah, we don't do no names now. We don't.
I don't tell you their name.
And we appreciate y'all for listening to GECW. Wouldn't want to give them the right station name, right? No, I'm just playing. Right. No, but okay. So how did you get into selling that, Tasia?
I used to just watch my cousins. They used to have money all the time. Not they always do when I used to feel some type because I used to sit at home and I used to see them with money. I'd be like, dang, where y'all finna go?
Right.
I want to go. You got money on you? No. So I just start. When we was in middle school, and I just started seeing him do it. I just
so was
behind.
your cousin got you into it, and so that was going to be one of my next questions: is do gangs provide better financial opportunities for our youth? Is that why they flock to the gangs so much, Tasia?
I feel like but I feel like at the same time they just want to be seen. They want to be big and bad,
right?
They can't be something that they're not.
Ooh, now that was deep. Mm-hmm. That was deep, Tasia.
Cause my mama always just tell me, you can't be somebody you can't do what you see other folks do. That's why I used to just stop hanging around folks. I just hang around certain people like a poor little group of girls. The same little group of girls that always been there for me, never got in trouble. Mm-hmm. I was always the one that always got in trouble.
Okay. Well, we just stay out the trouble.
Yeah,
stay out the trouble zone. But that reminds me of I just saw a quote today, because everybody being Nipsey Hussle pictures and quotes, and so I saw a quote today from him that said, "Look around your circle, and if there's no one in your circle if there's anyone in your circle that doesn't inspire you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage." Ooh. I had to read that like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, say it again.
Look at your circle of friends. And if none of your circle of friends inspires you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And that's true. And that goes back to the, what the old people say, you can tell a person's future by the friends they hang out with. Yeah. That's the one my mom used to always give me. You can tell, I can tell you where your future headed by who you're hanging out with.
And I learned that at a they was like, when your child is in the 5th grade, and if all your children, your son friends or daughter friends is getting suspended, like if you can tell by your child character by the people that they bring home. So, and that was true because I had to look at it and I was like, okay, so he in juvenile, he dropped out, and I'm like, so for, things that I saw as a younger mother, it really came to light the more mature and the more that I learned in doing this organization. So that makes my drive even higher.
Right. So what, Tasia, what do we need to create more jobs, more better paying jobs to stop children from getting involved in gang activity? I mean, is it, if it's the money aspect, is that the answer? Creating jobs and creating jobs that pay students enough to get the Jordans and the whatever it is they want to get.
Yeah, I feel like, because almost every job wants you to have a high school diploma, but everybody can't get a high school if they want to, but they can. But at the same time, you got folks out here that's struggling, trying to help with their mom, dad, or whoever. They always want a high school diploma. Why you just can't stick with a GED or get them something little to start off with and try to work their way up to something bigger? Right.
Well, to answer that question, the education system here in America was to weed people out that they didn't want in their societal circle.
Yes.
And so, the black community has been saying for years that the current education system and these tests that they give us, we don't relate to them.
They're not, the Georgia Milestone. We're doing Georgia Milestone. The stuff that they're teaching us don't have nothing to do with on that test. And when I get in the test, I ain't learned that. I can't really do nothing but sit here and pick an educated guess.
Right.
But when we don't get it right and we fail that test, we're back in the same grade we in now.
Right. Okay, so that was pretty powerful what you just said too. So you just said things that you were being taught in the classroom by the teachers are not really preparing you to take the Georgia Milestone test.
Not. You got so many kids that be in the class and be like, what is this? And then we can't ask the teacher what it is.
Right.
We ask them, they're going to get in trouble.
Right, yeah, because it's testing time at that
so
point.
all we could do is just sit back and just try to figure it out. But I be getting frustrated and I be ready to give up. I be like, man, forget it, I'm going to walk out.
Yeah.
But I be having to be like, nah, I'm going to have to take it.
So you feel like you're not being prepared enough for this test that they put so much emphasis on, to the point where if y'all don't pass the test, you get kept back in the grade.
Yeah, I feel like they're not. But right now, we don't even know when we take the Georgia Milestone. They don't even bring the Georgia Milestone up. To be honest with you, in school, they only bring up our exams that we got to take.
The ELCT.
Yeah, that's the only thing they really worried about. But on the they give us that at the beginning of school. Like, we supposed to know what we supposed to do.
What's the ELCT?
In the course.
We just got in school.
But what? And I'm gonna be the advocate too. So when you're going into school, sometimes they give you post information to see what you know, and then they give it to you again at the end to see what we have taught you.
Right. But
what I don't like is because a lot of the youth that they do combine together are the same youth that have been together from middle school time, that they've always scored lower. You know, so why would you continue to put me in the classroom
with that same group?
I'm in a group of class with the same kids back in middle school.
Right.
And so you got to you have to change if you want me to do different, you got to change my environment and change the way you teach.
But at the same time, everybody that's in our high school now, I went to school with them from middle school, from elementary school. And some of them you don't either grew up with. We all in one school put together. So I feel like it's still not helping us out. No. Either way it go, because you got folks that's in the 10th grade, but still taking the 9th grade class.
Yeah.
Because they don't fail the test. And I feel some type of way about it. Like, if we fail 2 core classes, we got to go back to 9th grade homeroom next year.
But so then you got to focus. And that's what I tell you. Right? So therefore, I know you're in the same class, but you know what you want. You want LSU, right? You want to be CSI, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to have to do summer school to get my stuff up, because I did a car accident and I was going out a whole semester.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been in school just this one semester.
Okay.
So I got to try to catch back up on my stuff. Okay. It's a whole bunch, but
you gonna do it?
I know I'm going to do it. So
yeah, you're going to do it. Don't even look at the whole bunch. Just look at doing it. So that's it. That's all right. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. I believe in you.
Yes.
What about this? Oh, so what role does or should the education system play in gang prevention? Because you just mentioned a few minutes ago that they're just like, gang, what are you talking about, gang? There's no gangs here. So shouldn't the schools be paying a larger role in the prevention of gangs?
They, again, like I stated, I want to give kudos to Cedar Grove because they are. So therefore, what I was seeing is they were just, let me eliminate these youth and just suspend them for 10 days and get them out, and we don't have to worry. We can focus on the education piece. So now if we put a new program in here that can address the gang issues, address the education system where, you know, we can keep some of these youth who from being on the streets, and we can say, well, okay, we're going to put you in Saturday, we're going to teach you right here. Then you're taking ownership. You're keeping them off the streets, but you're still educating them.
Right.
So first you got to say, we have a problem. Then parents. Right. You got to get that child to that Saturday school.
Ooh,
you have to.
Now you're asking for too much now.
You asking too much. You have to go and talk to those administrators.
Right.
So that's what we have to do is the administrators have to believe, and the parents have to take ownership to say that, you know, we're going to work together instead of everybody blaming each other.
Right. And so it has to be the school,
yes,
the parents, the community leaders.
Yes.
So it's the village effort.
A village effort.
It has to be the village effort. And, you know, one of my hashtags now with Alchemy, my nonprofit, is to reestablish the village because we've gotten so far away from that connectedness and that cooperation with everyone, and it's all individual. You stay over there, you stay over there, you stay over there. You keep your children over there. No, I don't want your children with mine because your children doing this and mine ain't. So, but my child might be doing this, but I don't want to acknowledge that because it's my child. You know, like we really gotta take the blinders off, like you just said, and come together collectively to do something about this situation. And you know, we shouldn't have to wait until a major situation like the Nipsey Hussle shooting. Like the past 2-3 days, everybody just been talking about him and gang violence and what's wrong with our community. And so, but I hear all of that, but I don't hear a whole lot of solutions. You know, Mothers Against Gang Violence is a solution. Alchemy Artisan Inc. is a solution. You know, there are institutions in place that are out actively doing the work in the community that needs to be done, and it is so much work that needs to be done. I was talking about this the other day with somebody, and I was telling, because she posed a question to me, are there enough good black men doing the work in the community that needs to be done? And I told her that. I said, there are good black men out there doing the work. I said, but it's not enough. I said, because we need an army, and we don't have an army.
And we need funding.
Definitely. Definitely
if you
need funding.
Yes, we need funding.
So, but you know, there are good men, good women like yourself out there, and the work is being done. But we need more people. We need more resources. We need an army.
I agree.
So how do you feel that your 12 years as a case manager, as a social work case manager, assisted you with Mothers Against Gang Violence?
It actually helped me with a lot of resources. So again, now I'm working in Clayton County. I'm working in an adult education facility, Hearts to Nourish Hope. So being able to share these different resources, like Fulton County have their resources, DeKalb County have their resources, Clayton County. So it's again, like you said, everybody's staying in their own box.
Right.
But when you get to branch out, I'm able to share those services. Like, well, man, I didn't know, like I took Tasia to work with me today. So this is a secondary, it's a second chance program where individuals get out of incarceration and they're actually able to get their GED, and we help them get careers. I wanted her to see that because I want her to never think she has to drop out of school to have a career.
Right.
So to share, partnerships, I've developed a lot of partnerships, and I'm spreading them up. I said I'm going to run for city council one day because I am. I'm going to run for city council one day because I'm willing to share everything I learned, so nobody will have to go through what I went through as a mother.
Wow.
So sharing the resources and partnerships is what I received out of being a social worker for 12 years.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that had to be great training for what you're doing now. Because I know as a social worker, you were in and out of different schools and homes with all type of situations. And so I can tell you, you are well prepared for the battle, ma'am.
Thank you.
So why is it important for children to be exposed to productive activities?
So that they can change their mindset, the way they see life.
Ooh, change their mindset.
Change their mindset, the way they see life, to change the way they respect adults, to change the way they respect authorities. Again, the forward thinking is in a precinct to see we're teaching children how to see police officers in a respectful way instead of being fearful all the time.
Okay.
So exposing youth to something different, it teaches them value.
Value, that's a good word.
It teaches them value.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what you said, just if we don't give them positive, productive activities, guess what? The negative is gonna be right there, knocking on the door, and they're gonna be tempted to go because there's nothing else for them to say. Well, I got piano, so I don't want to get caught up in that life, or I got a study group that I got, or the book club that you, and I've been thinking about trying to get one of those started for young men. I just haven't exactly figured out how I want to do that yet. Maybe you can help with that.
Definitely. We actually have Freedom is a Choice. Great readers become great leaders. Great readers become great leaders campaign.
Okay.
And so where we go and we get books, we go to book signings, we sit down, we read, and then we come together and talk about and discuss the reading. And again, you have to educate them because again, when these young men are being incarcerated, at 15 receiving life sentences, some of them don't even know how to read the charges that they have.
Right. Yeah.
So you want me to say, yes, Your Honor, I accept, I do understand, and I don't even know the first word of, I just know burglary because that's a street word.
Right. Yeah.
But burglary to the second degree or it's a felony, like, you know, we have to teach them to be able to understand.
Yeah.
So
you're absolutely right. Because the more that young people are exposed to at a young age, that gives them opportunities to grow in those different areas. And like you said, you have to have a growth mindset. And too often we're stagnant in our mindsets. And even speaking for myself, I didn't start having a growth mindset till I was 30. You know, and that was when I started a spiritual journey and started noticing or discovering my gifts and all the things I could do and becoming more service oriented to the younger generations because, you know, I've lived a long, pretty good life. I'm 44 years old. But, you know, too many of our young people are not
making it that
right. And you know, I remember when I was young growing up in the hood, I didn't think I would live to see 18 or 21. And it was like I said, I wasn't in the street life, but I lived in the hood.
But it's always the innocent bystander.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. But you know, my friends and family, they did stuff. I was hanging with them. And I'm like, I could get caught up, you know, just from being with them. You know what I mean? Thankfully that never happened. But yeah, we just need more. And, you know, they're taking all of these programs out of school. Yeah, you know, they don't have recess for the young children no more. They're taking out the extracurricular activities out of the middle school. All of that is going. And the vocational skills, all of that is leaving. And what is that leaving these? What options is that leaving these children with?
None at all. Again, because like I stated, I work at an adult facility, so these youth, they don't know about birth certificates and so we have to teach them that all over. You've been incarcerated since you was 15 or 16, and you're getting out at 23. You talking about get a birth certificate? Like, what's a birth certificate? You know, like, I don't know nothing about a birth certificate. Those are things we're teaching and to replenish. I just had one story I want to tell. I was kind of down. I was upset with my 14-year-old last week.
Okay.
But I received a text just to receive that inspiration for one of my youth at Woodson Elementary.
Okay.
And he said, Miss TK, happy birthday, a happy belated birthday. So I was like, well, you know, it's belated, but how do you remember it's my birthday? And, you know, like on Facebook or Instagram, you have those message pictures or pictures like from a year ago. Yeah. He was like, well, Miss TK, I got a picture that came back up when you took me to South Carolina to the college. And I remember that your birthday was then, so I just wanted to make sure. And so when I saw that, it put a smile on my face to let me know he remembered that from 5th grade.
Yeah.
He said, now I'm in a private school. I said, well, make sure you keep me in touch. So it refilled my cup. When sometimes I felt like my cup was empty to let me know that my work is not in vain.
Yeah, it's still moments like that that'll refill your cup. I got a refillable cup moment too that I'm gonna talk about in my Scholars of the Week section. But yeah, that's great that you know, that means you had an impact on him.
Thank you.
A very positive impact. And what is the quote? People might forget what you say, people might forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a testament to that. And that's, I can think about over my lifetime, the people that stood out and that I really remember are ones that made me feel good about myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so you got that spirit. I can see it all over you.
Thank you. I got that spirit taste.
Yeah.
I know Tago ain't man over there. So you have what is this? Girls, Pearls, Hats, and Heels. What is that I saw on your website?
Actually, Girls, Pearls, Hats, and Heels was again a mental health counseling organization that I partnered with at one moment, and we were giving scholarships out to young individuals that were coming out of incarceration that was going back to school. So we had to wear our hats, pearls.
Got you. Hold on one second. Good evening, and thank you for calling WCEG Talk Radio. What is your question and or comment, please?
My question is, I wanted to find out how does the guests feel about parents volunteering in the school system, making it mandatory?
Say that again, please. Oh, can you turn your radio down, please?
Sure.
And ask the question. You said how does she feel about
parents making parent volunteerism mandatory in the school system?
How do you feel about making parental volunteering
a part of the school system?
Yeah, making it mandatory.
I think we really need it to be mandatory in high school. I really do. It's actually a school, Narva J. Harris, that's in DeKalb County, and that's part of the requirements for their youth being accepted into that school.
Okay.
That parents have to do so many hours of community service. I feel as if, though, with this Saturday school, the requirements is parents are to come with their youth to that Saturday school.
Okay.
So that youth cannot, that suspension can be lifted. Right now is a pilot program, so we are having parents not want to come, they just want to drop their youth off.
Right.
But I feel that if the parents are required to be involved, then you will know more of what's going on. So I really do feel that I'm pro parents should be involved in the school more, or mandated to at least do 10 hours a semester or a quarter, depending on 20 hours, depending on that's not that much. A lot of parents come to the school when they have track, cheerleader, and they sit in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So if you can come to track for then, you can come in and do a little community service hours.
Yeah, you're right. And that was an excellent question, caller. We appreciate you listening, and we appreciate your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. I mean, and I agree with what you said, that it should be mandatory. I just don't know how you would enforce that. So like you said, if they made 10 hours mandatory, how would you enforce it, and what would be the consequences if the parent didn't do the 10 hours? You're talking about 10 hours for what, the year?
Yeah, 10. Well, I say semester.
Semester. So it's 2 semesters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 10 hours prior to Christmas break and 10 hours
definitely
after Christmas break. But again, how would that be enforced, and what would the consequences be? Because I've always been of the mindset since I turned 18 years old that you cannot make a grown person do anything. And if you make them do it, are they really going to do it up to the level and to the standards that you needed to be done at? You know what I mean? And so I know how hard it is to get parents to participate from when I was teaching in Bankhead. And having some type of mandate put in, I don't see how that would work without there being like major backlash from the parents.
I mean, it'll be major backlash, like uniforms. Some parents don't like uniforms.
Right, yeah,
I love uniforms because it doesn't give me, my son doesn't have to worry about what he's going to wear that morning. But I would say it's especially mandated for our youth that are absent a lot. So therefore, when they have tutorial, come to sit in a tutorial. Make it mandated for one of the parents, because if your child is absent, you're fined by the court system if the social workers report it.
Right.
So therefore, you are fined as a parent. So I would say maybe not parents, all parents, but I would say if your child is having behavior concerns, if your child is absent a lot of times, then you are mandated to come at least to one tutorial or one session, or possibly you could be fined, or like we say, it's always a threat to alternative schools.
Right.
So your child could be expelled or be suspended. I would say we have to look at what we're mandating that parent for. And I would really consider for if your child is constantly being suspended and constantly being absent. We have a lot of parents who children, I told a teacher one time, parents don't like to come to the school to parent-teacher conference because they already know their child is failing. And I don't want, when I come there, for you to tell me my child is failing.
Right.
Tell me that my child is, call me when my child is doing good sometimes. Oh, Tasia came to school.
Right.
Tasia came to class all the time.
Right.
So and the teacher was like, really? Yeah, it's like, why would parents all time, when you come to a parent-teacher conference, it usually the teach parents that kids are on a roll,
right?
Or then you have some parents like me, they may be failing one class or something like that, but we have to make it worthwhile for that parent to come and want to volunteer.
Right.
I used to come and just stand by the bathroom in the middle school. I did. Do you remember that? If they tell me my son cut school, he wouldn't even know there. I'll be doing parent duty on the hallway.
Right.
And I'll be standing by the bathroom, or I would go. So then if I go, my son, I was like, I don't want you to hang around him. That's not your friend. And he was like, you can't tell me who my friend is. Well, he was really disrespectful in class. So he's not somebody
that you need to be associated
around
with.
So parents, we do need to take more consideration and thought in being active in the school. But teachers and administrative, you have to welcome those parents when they come in. And being parents, you can't come in always saying, not my child.
Right. So, yeah, it was a lot of them when I was teaching.
Yes. Yes.
But you're absolutely right. So I don't know. That's an interesting that making parents volunteer mandatory. That's an interesting concept, and I might have to do a show about that one day.
Especially if they're failing. If you know that that parent needs to come and sit in one tutorial, it's mandated, and that child can get credit.
Okay.
But you got some parents that got more than one child. Like my mama, she can't always come to stuff because my sister either got to go out of town. My sister do Dancing Dog. She travel around. She go worldwide.
Okay.
She can't come to everything that I want to do.
When you say everything, we said come to something. So that may be.
My sister got practice from time she get out of school until 10 o'clock at night. My mama can't really do nothing because they got to sit up there because they have parent meetings or they got this and that. And when my grandma got work, she go straight to sleep because she be so tired and be ready.
So deal or no deal? That's what I'm saying. So you know that your parents and your grandmother can't do all this. So deal or no deal from this day forward. I'm asking you, are you going to go and make sure you do all of your assignments, whether they boring or not?
Yeah.
Okay. That deal.
That deal. I heard it.
Deal or no deal. If you know your parent can't do all this, we just putting some suggestions out.
Right. Yeah.
But as a youth, if you know your parent can't be there, then you've got to stop putting their parents in situations where they have to be there.
I feel like the teachers and them should, like, I got 95 assignments to do. We can't get, and then sometimes they want us to do, like the 48 assignments I got to do, they want us to do that by the end of this week. We can't do all that, and plus we got extracurriculum activities we do on the side. You know how much homework we get?
What extracurricular? You going to have us fussing about
well, you know we got homework to do, and then sometimes the teachers don't be fully teaching you what they want you to do and do your work. Like teachers, they get smart with you. You got teachers that act like us. They don't.
That's true. I've seen that.
That don't really give us.
I've seen teachers
they
act
will
like
give
children.
us work, but don't teach us nothing about it, and then expect for you to teach on your own how you supposed to do your own work. But I feel like if you want us to do something, you should at least sit here and teach us how to do it, not just sit here and act like one of us. Sit here, eat, be on your phone in class, get smart when we get, like, I don't like folks like that.
I mean, you have a valid point. You have, because I've seen stuff like that from teachers. And so it could be
a topic.
It could be a healthy debate. You know, we might have to do that one in the future too. But right now we are out of time. I want to thank all the listeners for listening to this wonderful conversation. Thank you to Tekesia Shield. Tekesia, did I say that right?
Yes. Thank you for having us. Yes.
From Mothers Against Gang Violence.
Yes.
And Tasia, Terrell, Miss Future LSU, CSI criminal investigator, numero uno. I see you, girl. And we just have to encourage our youth, like Tasia, like this young lady. She's put it out into the universe what she wants to do, and instead of us in a position as adults, teachers, community leaders saying, girl, you know you can't do nothing like that. What you thinking? No, we have to state that's a great idea, Tasia. That is something respectable to.
By you telling me I can't
do
nothing, you just push me harder to go forward.
See, that's how I was. See, that was somebody tell me I can't do. Like when these people told me I couldn't be in the entertainment industry. Who? Watch me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was the same type of person. And so, okay, so let me just say this to you then. You will never make it into LSU. I don't think you can do it. You will not be a CSI. Is that where that reverse psychology working? No, but I I can see your spirit, and I can see and hear in your voice that you want more and you want to do better and be better. And so if you keep that mind state, you will get to where you're going. LSU Tiger. So yeah, with that, again, thank you to the listeners out there. Thank you, caller, for calling in with that wonderful question. You've given me another show topic. And we're going to get ready. But before we go, Ms. Shields, can you please give out how people can contact you again?
Okay, again, my contact information number is 404-749-7422. 404-749-7422. www.violence.com. And April the 16th is our next forward thinking session at Soft DeKalb Precinct.
April 16th.
Yes.
And what is it? The forward thinking?
Yes, forward thinking, and I have the dates in here.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, that's for me.
Yes.
Okay. This is the program on my camera. Can you see? All right. There we go. And forward thinking. What is that? That's like a think tank.
Forward thinking is a mentoring program, curriculum program that I work with my team member. Freedom is a Choice, mentoring with the PSN U.S. District Attorney, and so we talk about choices, what got me here. We talk about substance abuse, communications, and behavior with parents.
Okay. And what time is that?
It's from 6:30 to 8:30.
Oh, darn it. Okay, I won't be able to make the 16th because I got a show that night here.
We got all the dates.
I got all the dates. I'll be at one of them.
Okay.
I'll be at one.
You're more than welcome.
And again, thank you for what you do in the community. I wish your son the best.
Thank you so much.
With his situation, and wish the best for all your other sons too, your other 3 sons.
Yes.
You're doing a great job as a mother. Don't do the mom guilt thing.
I won't. You're not premature.
Yeah, he's not premature.
Thank you.
And thank you again for this informative conversation. Needs to be had, and keep doing what you're doing in the areas of mental health too, because a lot of our young students, young people deal with that, and a lot of the older people have a stigma about it, and so they don't want to deal with it.
Definitely.
And so we have to do something to get rid of that stigma and bring more resources in to help in that department of mental health.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm in DeKalb County too. So if you need me to come out and do some support, just let me know. Okay, with that being said, we're going to move into the last portion of my show, which is the Scholars of the Week. Okay, my first Scholar of the Week goes to Benjamin Holmes. He is from Birmingham, Alabama. He has received $1.1 million in scholarships, in counting, and he's been accepted to 31 different colleges. Wow. And he has a 4.05 GPA. So give it up for Benjamin Holmes. That's my first Scholar of the Week. My second Scholar of the Week goes to Tekesia Baker. She's 17. She is the valedictorian of Lucy Laney High School in Augusta. She is a basketball, volleyball, golf, tennis, and soccer athlete.
Wow.
But she's also on the National Honor Society, Student Council, math team, and academic decathlon. She has a 4.1 GPA, and she's been accepted into over 20 colleges.
Awesome.
So give it up for Tekesia Baker. Woohoo! And my next Scholar of the Week goes to Miss Tasia Terrell. Yes. Listen, anybody that can come in here and speak about their past that you have, but not only speak about your past, but speak about your path to the future and what you want to do in the future. That's excellent. That's what we call forward thinking. That is a growth mindset, and you're working to better yourself. So give me some. I appreciate you for being you. You know what I mean? And if you stay on that right path, keep your mind focused, you'll do anything you want to do, all right?
Thank you.
Model and everything. All that. You be on the LSU Tiger catwalk out there strutting it. So yeah, and now this is a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but I wanted to shout out Kevin Reese and his family. Kevin Reese was an elementary school student who unfortunately took his life last week. He had been being bullied at school, and you know, the children at first, they were verbally bullying him and things of that nature, taking his notebook, telling him to write and kill yourself in his notebook and things of that nature. And his mom said back in November, it got physical and he got jumped. He didn't fight back because he's not a fighter, but she said that him getting jumped really affected his mental health. And, you know, she didn't think it was that bad, but last week he ended up taking his life.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, that's another family. And this happened in Houston, Texas. And they said Kevin was the 26th youth this year that's taken their life, this school year that has taken their life in Texas. So we've got to do something about this bullying epidemic, and how we can, if we can't end the bullying epidemic, which needs to be done, then we definitely need to teach our children better coping strategies other than taking their life. This is probably the third 10-year-old or younger child since December that I've read about. And so, yeah, something just definitely needs to be done. So prayers go out to Kevin Reese Jr. and his family. And we just really have to do something about this epidemic. But I'm not going to go out on a sad note. We don't do that here at WCEG. So I'm going to bring it back up real quick. And I'm going to tell you a story about little Anaya. Little Anaya was a second grade student at Stoneview Elementary School. I went out there last week for the career day. And when I talk to the students, I tell them about my being in the entertainment industry 13 years, never selling drugs, never doing anything illegal or immoral to get to where I am, because they always ask me why it's taking me so long to get famous. And so I was in there. When I walked into the classroom, they were watching Black Panther. So I already hit them with the Wakanda Forever when I went in. And so, but I told them a story about how I auditioned for Black Panther 2 years ago when they would get ready to shoot it. I didn't make it. I told them I was very disappointed. Then I told them once the movie came out last year and I saw the movie and how great it was, I was even more disappointed that I didn't get into the movie. And then, but you know, I told them you have to move past what you consider failures and keep going, pursuing your dreams. And so I gave my little 45-minute presentation. And at the end of the presentation, I get ready to take a picture with the class. This little second grade girl, she comes up to me and she hands me a note. So I'm reading the note and I'm like, the note says, look, I'm trying not to get it. The note said, Black Panther is here. I'm so happy. His name is Mr. Cheeks. Then she put fan in the middle of the paper and then she signed it at the bottom. I was like, oh my God. Why did you do that to me? But that was that, what'd you call it? Fill me up moment.
Yes,
yeah, because I was, you know, since 2019 started, I've been running. I've been going. And like we mentioned earlier, that money and the resources not there like I wanted to be, which makes it very frustrating and overwhelming. Let me tell you something. I got this little letter. All of that washed away.
All the way.
I was like, this is right here is the reason why I do what I do. And so that letter is on my dresser right now, but I'm going to put it up next to my vision board that I have in my room so I can be next Black Panther. Yes. You know what I mean? So I dream big.
Panther reunited.
You already know. So I wanted to give a very special thank you to Anaya, the second grader at Stoneview Elementary in Miss Wimberly's class. So shout out to her and her second grade class, and you too, Miss Wimberly, because I was told she has the smartest second grade class there. That's our little secret though, even though I just told a million folks. All right. Well, again, we appreciate you listening to WCEGTalkRadio.com. This has been a hashtag casual conversation with Tekesia Shields and Miss Tasia Terrell from Cedar Grove High School. Shout out to Cedar Grove. You got any shout outs you want to give anybody, Tasia?
I want to give a shout out to her son, Jalen.
Jalen, what's up, Jalen?
I've been knowing him since middle school.
Okay.
And I want to give a shout out to Jemiah, Rexiana, and them, because without them being in my life, I promise y'all, I would have been going down the wrong path.
All right. Well, shout out to them for keeping you on the right path.
That's right.
All righty. That's it. We will be back 2 weeks from today. Same bat time, same bat channel. So make sure you tune in. We've enjoyed this hashtag casual conversation. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Peace.